How did you get into creating your own bra line that allows for women to choose individual cup sizes?
Well, it actually started with feet.
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to refrain from saying that word.
The psychological impacts, the self-consciousness, but it is the very real kind of physical impacts in terms of that weight imbalance. And we've had customers who have undergone
A medical condition in which there is a severe asymmetry or unequalness in the size of the breast, generally related to a difference in volume.
Yeah.
say break the taboo.
That's why we have people like you.
Or
Yes.
positivity, which we like to
That's
Yay.
amazing to hear.
Let's talk about breasts.
Let's talk about you and me
Let's talk about all the good things.
and all the bad things.
All right, welcome to episode 43 of BoobTube. I'm your breast friend, Jaleesa,
I'm Chantel.
and we are here to talk about some more breasts. But these might not be the breasts that you see on an everyday basis. They might have a little, difference. So, before we get into it, we're going to take BoobTube on the move.
Have y'all ever encountered women with two different size breasts?
Me, most definitely.
Like significantly, or just like everyone has one that's bigger?
My
than the other?
observation is always the left side is the opposite side of the. Listen, I met a girl who didn't have like she didn't have no breasts uh, because she had cancer and they took her breasts off, but she still had nubs and it was sensitive.
What are your thoughts on uneven breasts?
I think it's normal.
Oh, good. All right. What are your thoughts on uneven breasts?
So let's talk about it, because one side of my body are bigger than the other, and I can honestly say one of my boobs are bigger than the other. Okay. So my thoughts on that is, how can we find a balance to have them both comfortable? And that's hard with bras.
Okay.
Then they don't have each other.
Our ladies here, she thinks it's normal, which it is.
Yeah.
And then the other lady says,
Let's talk about it.
yeah, she basically thinks that there should be a solution for it. And, we're going to get into that.
Yep.
But, so the thing is, everyone does have breasts that are like our bodies aren't 100% symmetrical,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some more extreme cases to where
It's noticeable.
Yeah. But, the men, they're also observing. So they said, most definitely that they have encountered that. So I don't know if it's always that the left one is larger. Maybe that's just in his experience. I don't know if it's his left or their left.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I thought it would have to do something with your dominant side.
Yeah.
Which would make it, I think the dominant side was the larger one.
I thought so.
I could be wrong. I don't know. It's probably different for different. When I think about it, I think my right side is larger.
I think mine is too.
And I'm right-handed.
Yeah. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
It might be something to make like that for breasts, but I can't think of it.
Oh, you mean as far as the dominant?
No, the phrase.
Different
strokes for different folks.
Well, yeah, something. It'll come.
Different boobs for different dudes. That's what they experience.
I'm gonna say different cups for different pups. I don't want
that part too. Different cups for different pups. I mean, pups can also kind of be like boobs. So I don't know. Little pups. I don't know.
I guess so. Somebody out there will
come up with something. All right. So yeah, but yeah, like we said, for me is my dominant side. You use your dominant side. Let us know what it is for y'all.
Yeah.
If you don't have a more extreme case of uneven breasts, is it typically your dominant side or is it the side that is not dominant? And even if you do have a difference, a more extreme difference or noticeable difference, is your larger one your dominant side or not? Because that's something I never thought about.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out more.
A lot of lessons to be learned on this topic.
So a lot of just thinking about like how society responds to it. Like a lot of times I'll have clients and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's the bigger one and stuff," and "Oh, I have one that's bigger," but a lot of them come to me like it's abnormal. But I'm like, no, your breasts are normal.
See, this needs
Like,
to go back to why are we being educated about this
yes,
stuff?
because I'm like, your breasts are normal. Like everyone has one
Yes.
that's bigger than the other. Sometimes you might have to adjust your strap a little differently for
Yeah.
that one, but it's perfectly normal. I have seen one case where it was kind of like a 2 cup size difference.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's different.
How do you adjust for that? Which one do you go with?
You go for your larger cup. You always
Okay.
want to do that. And remember, even when we spoke with the Bra Whisperer, Katie, she was saying you always want to accommodate your larger one. Yeah,
that makes sense.
because you can't have a little A cup sitting on top of an H cup.
Not at all. Hopefully, it's not that drastic.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You got to fill the H cup up with the H boob and maybe put some filling in for the A cup boob or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. But I'm glad we're having this conversation. Like the woman on BoobTube mentioned, let's talk about it again, because some women feel uncomfortable with it, and we should not feel uncomfortable because it's natural.
Right.
But I think it is, even for young girls to know, if they're taking notice of that it's completely normal, and for women to understand that as well.
I don't know if we discussed that when we talked about last year, like the back to school time and developing puberty. Like, did we talk about the fact that, hey, one of your boobs might feel a little bigger than the other, and that's okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if we didn't.
And then now thinking about that, I wonder, because I was thinking about when I was, pregnant and breastfeeding, one definitely looks bigger than the other, and one produced more than the other. I wonder if size has something to do with. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but in my mind, it probably did have something to do with lactation.
Was it your dominant boob
that produced a lot?
Okay. And I have clients, especially the older ladies, they'll be like, and I breastfed, so one of he or she was always on the one, and that one's bigger.
Yeah.
Like they'll tell me all sorts
That's
of things.
a real
like
thing.
That. Yeah. I'm like, I believe you, ma'am. I believe you. We can get you situated. You and that breastfed boob.
Yeah.
We go get you situated. So yeah.
Definitely a lot that goes into maintaining the breast and finding the right bra for it to feel comfortable for both sides. That's interesting.
Well, so we've touched on it a little bit. However, we have some lovely guests that are here to talk about it even more and give us more information about this, go in depth. So let's take a look at what our guests have to say.
And joining us and adding to the conversation of uneven breasts is Heather St. John from the Balanced Bra Company. We are here and excited to learn more about how her expertise adds to this conversation. So welcome, Heather.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Adding to the conversation, we have Kate with Evenly. So let's welcome her to BookTube.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. How did you get into creating your own bra line that allows for women to choose individual cup sizes?
That's a great question. I in my 20s was working in corporate America, still am, and I could never find a bra that fits, ever. Constantly having trouble wearing specific shirts in board meetings because one side was always gaping or spilling over. And I went to get professionally fitted at a department store, and they were like, "Oh, you're completely so uneven." I said, "Well, oh, great. Tell me what I can buy." And they're like, "Well, there really isn't anything. You have to buy a specific type of bra, and you have to get it bigger on one side and kind of fill it on the other." And so I went home and I said, "I don't understand why no one has created anything about this." So I started to do research, but I was in my low 20s, just got out of college, didn't have a lot of money. And so I kind of just had the idea in the back of my head. And then about 10, 15 years later, married, I had 2 kids, and my husband was like, you have to stop talking about this and just do something about it. So I started to do a bunch of research and came up with the idea to create the Balanced Bra Company. It's a simple, snap in the front, snap in the back, and order one size on your left cup, one size on your right cup. Very simple concept.
Yes, and look how far, like how long it's taken someone to come up with that idea. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Glad that you had that epiphany and that your husband pushed you to.
I
Yes.
know. I know. It did take me quite some time. I did probably, we had a newborn and a 2-year-old. And so it took me a little bit of time to do the business plan, find someone to help me come up with the actual concept and work with factories and find the right materials. But yeah.
It sounds like you have a
It's-
great support system in your husband, though. So kudos and shout out to him.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
It's
do.
it's life, and everyone's life has their own timeline, and I'm pretty sure that Balance Bra Company came about at just the right time when it was supposed to. So no
Yes,
worries.
I think so too.
So let's get to it. How did you get into creating bra balancers for breast asymmetry?
Well, it actually started with feet. So I wanted to start, I've got different size feet, which is really, really common. And I wanted to start a business selling mismatched size pairs of shoes. So you might get like a 5 on the left and a 6 on the right. And I was talking to people about my idea, and so many of the women I spoke to said, shoes are a pain, but bras are a bigger issue. I can't get a bra that fits both of my breasts really well. And I'd had that problem. I used to always wear a bra that fit my smaller side. So I'd have this kind of bulge muffin top on the other cup. And I just thought it was me. And I used to sort of try and tuck it in. And then I realized it's incredibly common. And actually, there's no one talking about it. There's, very little in the way of solutions. So I wanted to set up Evenly to help all the women that are really struggling with this challenge.
Wow. I would have never thought of that starting with feet, but
No.
feet can be a thing too. I feel like with ankle strap shoes, my ankles are different sizes.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Once you think about it more, you realize no parts of our body are the same. Our hands aren't exactly the same. Our faces aren't symmetrical. So it's perfectly natural and normal. But obviously, when it comes to a well-fitting bra, it creates a lot of challenges if you haven't got symmetry there.
I'm curious with the feet and breasts, would you say that maybe the bigger breast correlates with their bigger foot? Or have you noticed
I don't know.
anything?
I haven't actually done any research into that, but it
Okay.
would be interesting to look at. Yeah, it's interesting. So there's in terms of kind of which side tends to be the biggest breast, there's some amount of research that says it's usually the left, and they think that's because there's extra tissue lining the heart, and obviously the heart's over towards the left. But we've done our own research. We have a breast asymmetry support group on Facebook, and we we did for a time ask ladies to tell us which was their larger breasts, and we found it was very much 50-50 whether it was right or left. So yeah, it's interesting though. I think there's not enough research into these areas, so who knows.
We had previously discussed that too, because we were saying we thought it was kind of like your dominant side was larger.
Yeah.
And in my case, it is my dominant side, which is right, my right hand.
Mm.
But I don't know, then researchers say it's the left, and then you got
Yeah,
50,
my
so
dominant's the right, but my larger breast's the left. So who knows? I don't know. I think it's just one of those, nature is kind of just beautiful in that way. There's not always kind of straight patterns. It's just how we're all uniquely created.
right. Is your left foot your larger foot?
Oh, that's a good point. No, I don't think it is.
Oh, okay, so maybe it doesn't correlate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
Ask for you to figure out what that correlation
I know, I'm
is.
gonna have to do a study now.
one question. Well, before I get to this question, let me introduce the term. The medical term for having uneven breasts is anisomastia. So that is what it's called. Most people refer to it as asymmetry in a breast or having uneven breasts, but that's what the medical people call it. So, how common would you say anisomastia or asymmetry is for the breast?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of varying statistics on this. And I think it's largely because it's depending on the actual definition that is being used at the time. But anywhere between 50 and 80%. I mean, if you really think about it, there's not many things on the human body that are actually exactly the same. And so it's actually very, very common.
Yeah. I encounter a lot of clients, and some of them think that it's so uncommon. They're like, oh, well, one of mine is bigger than the other. But I always let them know, like, well, everyone has one that's bigger than the other. But of course, there are some cases where it's a little more significant of a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
So that's why we have people like you.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And
And-
honestly, I'm only one size cup difference, but it makes a humongous difference to me personally with the fit of the bra. So,
Uh,
a lot of the folks that purchase from Balance Bra don't have that kind of drastic difference. I haven't seen a lot of that yet, maybe
Yeah.
a few, but for the most part, I think it's just 1 to 2 cup sizes different.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like, what have you noticed in the orders when it comes to the sizes, like cups up? But you answered that, so
Yeah, it's definitely around 1 to 2 cup sizes. I've had a couple more extremes where it might be like an A and a double D, but not super common yet. But we're still building. We're still, we've been in business for a couple of years, but it takes time, particularly in a topic that people don't want to talk about.
yeah,
That's
that
why we're here.
yes,
We're trying to
everything,
normalize this.
Yes.
and bring those taboo topics to light because we should be talking about this, and it shouldn't be something that should sit on the back burner because quite a few people are struggling with. Well, I won't say struggling. I will say living with this because it's
Yeah.
no longer a struggle because you have the solution.
Yeah.
What cup sizes? I don't know if you're able to. What cup sizes have you seen? Like maybe paired. Like, is there a certain range? Like maybe you mentioned A and double D, but are there larger cup sizes that you've seen come through?
I have, yeah. I will say because we're a little bit of a smaller, newer company, we only go up. We have 3 different style bras at this point in time. The original 2 that we launched with only go up to double D,
Okay.
and then we launched a 3rd style that actually goes up to F and G, and it's a little less common at that size at this point in time, but it is the only one style I have. And what I have noticed is that style, it's the Lily style, is less lined than the other 2. And so I think people are going more for the lined bras for the coverage than the unlined, which is actually more my favorite. I actually think it fits better in the unlined.
Okay.
I love an online bra.
Yeah, me too.
I just was that yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. I had a conversation with someone who she had a mastectomy, I think. Yes. And so she has uneven breasts currently. So she was saying how she can't wear certain bras, but it was really just a bra where she had the breast that was removed. She was saying that she can't wear wires on that side because of the minimal feeling that she has there. So she can't, tell if it's doing anything. And she was like, well, I don't think there's any bras where there's one side with wires and one without. I did tell her about you and how there are bras where you can choose the cup sizes. But have you heard of any that has one side with underwire and the other side without?
I have not, and it's interesting that you bring that up because I do get that question a lot.
Wow.
And my mother went through breast cancer and had a mastectomy, and it's the sensitivity with the actual wire. And so, ideally, going forward, we would introduce a product. We haven't gotten there yet, but I would love to do that. I have had some customers who have had either a mastectomy or a lumpectomy who it is working for, but I think it's the time frame after it is what really matters, right? So I think if you had a mastectomy maybe 10 years ago, it might not be as sensitive as it would be as if it was more recent with the wire.
Makes sense.
Okay. All right. Now I'm not going to pronounce this word correctly, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Anasomastia.
A nice.
Anisomastia. Anisomastia.
That's
I'm
what
going
the
to give the
man
definition.
said.
I mean, I just learned this word, so
So did we. That's what the audio and Google said for the correct pronunciation. Anisomastia.
That word. How common is that? Which basically is a symmetry.
Asymmetry. Well, there's various studies that show figures from sort of 50% of women right up to every single woman, because I think it depends how subjectively you measure the asymmetry. So some studies have looked at there being, say, a whole cup size difference between the breasts, and that's kind of the threshold where they'll class it as asymmetry, whereas others look at any difference in the breast in terms of nipple placement, areola, anything. And obviously, when you look at everything, that's every woman is different. No person's body is perfectly symmetrical. So yeah, it really varies, but it's safe to say that it's incredibly common. Yeah.
That made me think of the different breast types. You see that chart with the different breast types, and I'm particularly interested in breast density and how that plays a role, and how, of course, our breasts are shaped. So with the asymmetry and all the different factors that come into play, it's a wonder where we'll all settle on where this comes from. But it's good to know that basically every woman is going to deal with some type of asymmetry.
Yeah, and I think it's something that it's worth remembering that even if you have relative symmetry at one point in your life, that may change. So some girls are born with conditions such as Poland syndrome, which can mean they've got, an underdeveloped chest muscle on one side and therefore underdeveloped breast. They might go through puberty and then find the changes, or maybe they go through pregnancy and breastfeeding, or the menopause, or cancer treatment. There's times in a woman's life where she may become uneven even if she wasn't before. So yeah, it's definitely common, and most women are going to experience that at some point.
Are there any trends of women with asymmetry looking to get surgeries that you've noticed?
Yeah, and well, so historically, most women have fixed this completely with surgery, but I would say over the last couple of years, as people are moving more towards wellness and not putting toxic, I don't know what is in the silicone or what all of that stuff does to you, but there's a lot of trend around people actually getting their surgeries reversed, and so people are taking them out, and they're back to kind of being uneven. And so the trend of surgery has actually significantly gone down over the past couple of years. So people want more of a more natural look.
Okay, shout out to that.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
makes
actually have friends who have had them taken out lately, and honestly, it's and they personally say that they actually physically feel better without them.
Interesting.
Would you say you're seeing any trends in women with breast asymmetry looking to get surgeries to make their breasts even?
Yeah, and I can't speak for the sort of US kind of medical system, but I know here in the UK with our public health system, the NHS, it's really, really difficult to get funding for surgery if you have asymmetry for any other reason than breast cancer treatment. It used to be a few years ago that they were more receptive to, say, conditions like I mentioned, Poland syndrome, or other congenital kind of birth conditions that can affect breast growth on one side. And if there was a drastic asymmetry, because it can cause back, neck, and shoulder pain from the weight imbalance, it can also cause anxiety and depression because you can feel really self-conscious. They used to really sort of appreciate those health impacts and they would fund the surgery, but due to sort of budget cuts, they've had to prioritize, and it no longer typically gets covered. So we do talk to a lot of women in our Facebook group who then seek surgery privately, or maybe they're in the US and they're looking at private health options as well. So yeah, it's always, I think, something that can be explored as an option. But one of the reasons I wanted to set up Evenly was to give women other options, because I don't believe it's your body that needs to change. I think your body is beautiful and unique and perfect just as it is. If you want bras to feel more comfortable, obviously having something like one of our bra balances can do that. But it's not essential. You don't need to change your body. You just need to find solutions to help your bra do its job properly.
And can you explain your bra balances?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll hold it in front of my face just so it's you can see it on the camera. So these are the silicone breast forms specifically designed for breast asymmetry. So where traditional breast forms are maybe for post mastectomy use, or you may come across other kind of silicone chicken cutlet type fillet pads that push up the breast. Neither of those are perfectly suitable for asymmetry, whereas the bra balances are. They're perfectly sort of concave and come in different thicknesses for different levels of asymmetry, whether you've got a slight difference, sort of less than a cup size, right up to 3 cup sizes difference or more. And they go from sort of an A cup to I think we go to a J cup in certain band sizes in the bra balances. So no matter sort of your bra size or the level of difference between your breast, the balancer will perfectly fill that void on your smaller side. So if you fit a bra to your larger breast, you're going to have that gape on the smaller side. So this fills that gape and it's nice and realistic feeling. So it'll move like breast tissue and feel like breast tissue. And it gives you that weight. So it rebalances your bra. It gives you that weight. So your bra can evenly spread the weight across your back and shoulders. You won't lean to one side or get that back pain that you might otherwise experience.
That's perfect. It kind of looks like a implant in a sense, but it's just
Yeah.
out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very, very similar to what would be implanted. So
Yeah.
it's just giving you the option to, not alter your body, not put anything foreign inside your body in an attempt to fit this kind of unrealistic standard that we all believe we should have symmetrical breasts. It's just really designed to be worn to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel confident without changing yourself.
And that speaks to what Heather talked about with women who had implants. And now they're, reversing that and getting them out. And so this is a safer solution to having something if you want that symmetry, making sure it's not going in your body but remaining on the outside of it. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also makes me think of the episode we had with Ade from Nubian Skin, because she has the prosthetics.
Yes.
And I like that they're clear, because with that, in that conversation, we talked about how like women are having to get these prosthetics that don't match their skin tones. So then this one, even though it's not like for show, like it's for inserts or whatever, I like that it's just neutral and just clear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was very intentional for that
yeah,
issue. And I'm familiar with what Nubian Skin have done. And I think it's great because for so long, so many breast prosthetics are just a beige color that, suits a real small, section of the population. And it's just not accessible for everyone and suitable for everyone. So I wanted to make them clear. We do have comfort covers. So some women can find silicone can be a little bit irritating against their skin. So the comfort cover just gives kind of a moisture wicking layer, especially if you don't want to wear the bra balancer in a pocket, which it doesn't need to be in a pocket. And they come in 4 different shades. So we've tried to be, again, really inclusive in terms of the shades, but just to help, especially if you're wearing a sheer bra, just to help it sort of blend in with your skin tone. But as you say, they're not designed to necessarily be on show in any case, but we wanted to make sure we did consider that.
Very thoughtful.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. So how have people with and without breast asymmetry responded to your business?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some great responses. We share a lot of it on social. We've had some positive reviews. A lot of it is I feel comfortable for the first time in a really long time because I actually have a bra that fits. That is basically one of the most rewarding statements we can get. And then we've had a few clients, as I said, who kind of had a lumpectomy or a mastectomy, who have said, I finally have a sexy bra that I can wear and feel comfortable in without having to pad one side.
That's
Yay.
amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Doing the work.
Saving the world.
That's why we did it. That is why we created this company.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I'm pretty sure for those who don't have breast asymmetry, it's very educational to them. All breast talk is really educational to a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure that that's a very interesting conversation to have with people that don't know about it and don't know about your business.
Yeah, it is. What I find the most interesting though is that no one ever really knows what size bra they should be wearing.
Of course. So I bet that's more complicated too when you have two different sizes
It
as
is. So
well.
that is our biggest challenge, I think, is really getting people to understand what size they truly are. That's kind of what we've discovered so far. But I would say our return rate's pretty well is in the norm. And so at least it's working. We have measurement suggestions on our website and it's working for most.
Good.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I think there's always like the usual rule of thumb, of course, is to make sure you are accommodating the larger breasts if you
Mhm.
have some uneven breasts. But I'm glad that there's an even better solution
Mhm.
for that if you do have uneven breasts and you know you're doing the work. You're
Yes.
getting it done
Yeah.
and changing lives. So I love
One
Hopefully.
breast at a
Yeah.
time.
One
yeah.
boob at a time. Yep.
How have people with breast symmetry, asymmetry responded to your business?
Well, the feedback's just been amazing. Because I actually started when I thought about the feet and I thought about, serving women with asymmetry, I actually started by designing a bra for asymmetry. And I've finished that design now. I have a patent and I'm looking to bring that to life eventually. But it was taking such a long time. Lingerie development just takes an incredibly long time, as you guys will know. So I wanted to bring solutions to the market sooner. So that's why I developed the bra balances. And it was really just to double check the assumption I'd made that, women would want a solution and they're looking for solutions. I thought, I'll put something out there and we'll see what the feedback is. And it just blew me away. We had women from all over the world just saying they're just so relieved to find a brand talking about breast asymmetry because so many women just feel so embarrassed and shameful about it. They really feel like they're the only ones with this issue. And to find a brand that's just openly celebrating about it and talking about it, they just felt really relieved. And we've had lovely reviews from women who've tried the products and say that they cried with relief when they've put them in the bra, just that relief on the shoulder and, feeling like they can wear the clothes they want to wear. They no longer have to use up so much emotional energy worrying about their bras and their breasts and how they look. So it's been really, really, really positive, and keeps me motivated every day. It's really lovely.
Love hearing those stories and testimonials.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on our next question a little bit, but maybe you have some other things to add. Wanted to know if there are any concerns that women with breast asymmetry tend to have.
Yeah,
So
so as I mentioned, it's the psychological impacts, the self-consciousness, but it is the very real kind of physical impacts in terms of that weight imbalance. And we've had customers who have undergone spinal surgery. It's been that detrimental to their kind of their posture and their balance and how their spine has developed. She had very drastic asymmetry. And so it really is, an important health issue. It's not just a kind of cosmetic issue. It is, it can have these impacts on people's quality of life.
Interesting to note. I'm currently working with some chiropractors about I design sports bras. So all of this comes into play. I didn't consider the breast imbalance and how that might affect to women, no matter probably regardless of what sizes they are wearing. So that's a good point to keep note of.
Yeah,
I also,
yeah. It's as you know, like the importance of breast support, is really real. It really does have a huge impact. So anything that affects breast support is obviously going to compound any problems that are already there.
Outside of women with asymmetrical breasts, is there another audience that you target or that you have found to be receptive to what you are building?
Yeah, so the transgender community have been really, embracing of the products, which is just wonderful. It was a kind of an accidental, way to help more people, but they've I think there's been cases where people are waiting for surgeries, or maybe they don't want to go through breast surgeries, but they want to wear bras, and they want to have that breast shape. So obviously ours are the bra balances are sold singularly because they're designed for asymmetry, but you can buy two, you can wear two of the same size if you want that sort of natural breast look, because again, unlike some of the other options that are available to that community, they give kind of an unnatural shape. It's not a natural, realistic effect. So, it's been really nice to have, that positive impact on another community as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That worked out perfectly. Like you said, it was an accidental thing, but
yeah. And obviously there's the post breast cancer community. So again, that is breast asymmetry, but not a case where they're maybe born with that asymmetry. It's maybe been something that's created through the fact that they've gone through treatment. So whether that be a lumpectomy, a therapeutic mammoplasty, where it's increasingly done now, where they'll remove the tumor in the breast and then they'll use tissues from elsewhere on the breast to reshape so that there's not a dent. But what it means is they've moved the tissue around, so you end up with one breast smaller than the other, and they don't always symmetrize straight away. Sometimes it can be a couple of years further down the line to get symmetrization surgery, because that's deemed not as urgent. So yeah, there's that community as well, and we're just starting a partnership with Honor Ono in the US, who do a lot of really great chest inclusive lingerie. So our products are going to be available through them soon. So it's really nice because they obviously support the post-cancer community really well. So it's really great to be able to get our products to serve that community as well.
I love hearing that. I met the owner
Yeah,
maybe
she's
last
lovely.
year. She's great.
Yeah, she's amazing. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. It'd be really great. And we do, obviously we're a UK based company, but we do support a lot of ladies in the USA. So it's important for us to try and make our products as easily accessible to you guys over the pond. So that partnership will really help us do that as well.
Great to
hey,
hear.
you did mention how you have like certain styles currently as you've just started. Where would you like to see it in the future, or like maybe what are some upcoming plans that you have to add to it?
Yeah, our next step is definitely online. So no wire. That would be our goal over the next, I would say, year. We, as I said, we launched with 2 styles, and then we added an additional third about a year later. And so we're still seeing what is the most popular, but all the questions are, when are you going to create one that's online?
Well, I mean, we did want to know where you like to see your company a decade from now. We see you're, being international currently. Sure, that would
Yeah.
be you, but where would you like to see it?
I mean, I'd love to be the sort of go-to asymmetry brand. Obviously there's some fantastic solutions out there, such as the Balance Bra Co, etc. But if, for ladies that do want a sort of balancing option for their current bras, I would just like to be that go-to option. And I would really like, through greater brand awareness of what we're doing, I would like breast asymmetry to not be so much of a taboo topic. Like we say break the taboo. That's kind of the hashtag we're trying to coin, because we just want to break down. It shouldn't be such an embarrassing topic for women. We want them to know that it's it's incredibly common and it's nothing to be worried about. So that would really be my goal. I would be really thrilled if kind of around the world women knew they could come to us for solutions, and they know they're not alone, and they don't feel so embarrassed about it.
I
I
like
love
that.
it.
Break the taboo.
Yes, that's what that's why we're here too, just talking about these conversations that don't go that go, are not talked about, so that are taboo. And a lot of times the things that we're not talking about, so many other women are experiencing, and we just need to get together and have that community where we can share what we're dealing with these breasts of ours.
Definitely, yeah. And I was so thrilled when you asked me to be on the podcast, because like I say, I think it's great what you're doing. Just talking about these topics is just so powerful, because that's what does break down that sort of cycle of women feeling like they're the only ones. So yeah, great. It's great what you're doing. I think it's fantastic.
And we've learned so much from these various topics that are taboo.
Mm. Yeah, education is key. I think the more we can all share information, just the word will spread, and people will feel more empowered. They'll know what to do to help themselves feel better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You've answered and piqued our interest a little bit more on this subject matter. And before we get to where we can find you, or where folks can find you, what words of positivity would you like to offer to the audience?
Words of positivity. I would say, be who you are. You don't have to find a bra that is padded on one side to make yourself look good. I think one of our biggest concepts with Balanced Bra and is your fit, your style, your shape. Just be the person that you actually are, instead of having to find something to even yourself out. That would be my biggest positive words. You're going to look great no matter what.
Love that.
Yeah.
You already gave plenty, but are there any words of positivity that you would like to give to the audience? We always like to end with positivity.
Yeah, or positivity, which we like to say. Positivity. So yeah, just my overriding kind of mission with Evenly is, like I say, for women to feel like they don't have to change themselves. They are beautiful and unique just as they are, but there are solutions out there to help them feel more comfortable and confident.
And you're the solution.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, and yeah,
Great.
like I say, fantastic that you're doing having these conversations, and so pleased to be a part of them.
Thank you for being a part and enlightening us and our audience. And where can folks find you?
Folks can find us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, but we are at thebalancedbracompany.com.
All right. And your handles for those social media sites?
Balancedbraco.com.
All right. This has been great. I have learned some things to add and to remember. And like you said earlier, everybody has some type of face imagery. Nothing is equal if we have two of something. So just keep that in mind. And thank you for solving this, having a solution to what some women may go through and providing this option for them.
Great. And thank you so much for having me on today to spread the word. I appreciate that.
Of course, and thanks for joining us. We love to spread this wealth as far as we can. So that's what we're doing here. And I'm so happy to have you on here so that we can tell people about you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And let's stay in touch. I'd be happy to join anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you. Where can folks find you?
Oh, so we are available through our website, evenlybreasts.com, and we do ship worldwide from there. And as I say, coming soon to the US will be our partnership with Honor Ono. So we'll also be available there and in some lingerie boutiques around the world. So you can find on our website our list of fitters and stockists and where you can find them if you want to shop in store.
Yay, excited for you.
Absolutely.
And your socials?
So we are Evenly on
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook.
God, yeah. Alrighty.
And that's where you're breaking the taboos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I'm
are.
glad that there's even on top of us just talking about breasts and all these topics, that there are people like you and Heather who are in this sector solely working on this issue. Or do we want to call it an issue? We're going to call it I don't want to call it an issue because that's not it, but working on this
Topic.
what
Topic.
puppet
Topic.
Yeah. Yes. There you go.
It's a hard one. Yeah, you don't want it to sound negative, but it's
yeah. People say like issue or struggle, suffering. It was like, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that even within that one sector, we have people that are working to close the gap.
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
yeah, literally, yeah. Okay. So many puns.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, thanks again for joining us. We're so happy to be able to meet you and speak
Yeah,
with you as well. So wish you the best of luck with all of your endeavors and can't wait for you to expand even more and get into all of these places, fill
thank
these
you.
spaces.
Yeah, fill some more
Yeah,
spaces.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. No,
you're welcome.
really, really appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
Well, thank you for sticking around and learning more about uneven breasts. Hopefully, you learned something about yourself, that you don't have to feel self-conscious about uneven breasts, and that you can share this with other women out there as well to join in the conversation and let them know that there is nothing to be worried about. And if they do have a varied amount of uneven breasts, there's solutions for them out there. There are multiple solutions out there.
Right.
Join us next week as we get into National Lingerie Day, because this can tie into that, because we want everyone to feel confident in whatever they're wearing. So join us. Make sure you subscribe, like, and join us on Patreon. For $1, you can support the community as we are out here doing the work to educate more women on their breasts.
Yes. And make sure you shop with our guests from today's episode.
Definitely. See
All
you
right.
next time.
Ciao, ciao.